So now in Dashakam 11, what happens is, Dashakam 11 again, the Srishti is being continued. Now 10th Dashakam, all the previous Dashakams we saw how Srishti has started, that is Brahma slowly started the process of creation. So now Kramena Sarge Parivardhamane, Kramena meaning gradually, slowly, as now the process of creation has started, everything has started coming into being. Now say for example we are building a house or so, you just buy a house and keep with four walls around it, that is not enough, right? Then slowly what happens is a new house altogether, we slowly buy furniture, then you slowly buy household things that are needed. So basic things what are needed without which we cannot survive, that we buy first. Then slowly maybe some things which are like optional, maybe some decorative things also, or maybe you can say a shelf, cupboard and so on, like extra I'm talking about, which we don't need, means if it is there it is good, otherwise it's fine, that way. So slowly we start increasing. Then maybe some decorative items you buy so that the house looks good. Then maybe you put in lights somewhere, maybe some you can say like uh, garlands or something like that, like a toran or so we apply. So this all depends. So slowly the process of creation starts. Similarly, process of maybe you can say beautifying our house starts. Similarly here also, now the you can say the foundation has been laid. Brahma has started the process of creation, but we cannot leave it as it is. So then, after this slowly Srishti was being started, Brahma was slowly building up the world. At that time, the four Sanat Kumaras, the four divine sages, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara, the four brothers, they go to Vaikunta and they pray to the Lord. So all this Bhattatri is saying. And finally, what happens is they pass on through, they finally reach Vaikunta with the, now how is Vaikunta, they pass on through different mansions, lakes and so on. Now in Vaikunta, the garden that is there is called Naishreyasa, Manogya Naishreyasa Kananadyair Kananam. Dashakam 11 verse number 2, Kananam is a garden. So around Vaikunta, on the way to Vaikunta, rather you can consider even in Vaikunta you have this garden called Naishreyasa. Then there are many lakes, mansions, gems, everything, so they pass on through all that. And finally, at that time, what happens is Jaya and Vijaya. Jaya and Vijaya. Jayatan Vijaya Api Arundham. Verse number 3. The gatekeepers of Vaikunta, they stop these four sages, they Jaya and Vijaya, tell that you cannot enter Vaikuntam. At that time, all the four sages, they get angry and they curse the gatekeepers. Now, this also Bhattatri says it is because of your own will, because ultimately these gatekeepers later had to be born as various asuras were there: Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Shishupala, Dantavaktra. Please note, Kamsa is not there. Though Kamsa is a very important asura and he has a very important role to play in Krishna Avatara, he was not an incarnation of these gatekeepers Jaya and Vijaya. Many people get confused. They feel Kamsa and Shishupala. Kamsa is not so. Kamsa is a different asura altogether. Shishupala Dantavaktra. Now the story of Dantavaktra, it is there, a very small story, not a major event. So Dantavaktra, the story comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, many other Vishnu Puranas, such Puranas, but not a very major event that is there. A major story, maybe like Ravana and so on. It doesn't happen that way. But still, Shishupala is an important character. So Shishupala and Dantavaktra. So such were the demons who are existing. Vishnu had to take an incarnation to kill these demons. So by his will, this is how happened that somehow the gatekeepers stopped the sages and it provoked them. They cursed, and finally they cursed that you are not fit to be in Vaikunta. You are stopping people. First of all, it becomes very difficult for people to come to Vaikunta. On top of that, now when people are coming, you're stopping them. Therefore, now you're surely going to fall down. So now what is going to happen is you're going to fall down on the earth. So you're not fit to even live in Vaikuntham. Now slowly, the gatekeepers, they realize their mistake. They fall at the feet of the Lord, and knowing all this, verse number 5, knowing all this, the Lord comes out with goddess Mahalakshmi, and he also has Garuda with him. He rests his arm, it seems, on Garuda. Khageshwara Amsaha Arpitaha. Khageshwaraha Khaganam Ishwaraha Khageshwaraha, the Lord of birds, Garuda. So along with him, the Lord comes out. The sages were very happy to see your form, Bhattatri says. And thus looking at you, the four sages, the four Sanat Kumaras, they were praising you. And at that time, the two attendants also were waiting nearby. So basically, they had asked for forgiveness, but the curse could not be taken back. At that time, they were told the three lives you have to take on earth. That is this three janmas. First Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. Second Shishupala, Ravana, Kumbhakarna. Third Shishupala, Dantavaktra. After that they took birth through Diti and her husband Kashyapa. And thus it seems that they became cruel in nature. Now here what happens is Sandhya Samutpadana. That is during Sandhya Kala. They were begotten. That means basically now whenever during especially Sandhya Kala or maybe in the morning time or so, a woman does not conceive. Rather, it doesn't happen that way. A time that is reserved. Now, giving birth is another thing. Now, labor days also is not in the woman's hands, right? Or not even in the doctor's hands. When it happens, it has to happen. That might take time. So, anytime the child is born, it has to be accepted. But getting into a physical relationship also, usually you don't do it maybe during the day, right? It's maybe during night time or something like that. So there is a certain time that has been stipulated, and you also have certain, you can say, days also when it has to be done. That is after the monthly cycle, a few days, maybe 7 days or something like that, immediately after the monthly cycle. And then after that you have some 7 days, 14 days, all this as per Shastram. It is there, scriptures. You also have the mention in the Ramayana about this, and a few Puranas, even Srimad Bhagavatam also highlights about this. Why all this has been highlighted? Same thing here. These is, it seems that Diti is a mother of Daityas. So because during the Sandhya Kala and all such things were done, these children were begotten. Now note one thing, it's not that Kashyapa was not aware of this. Kashyapa is also the father of gods. But then this is the nature of Asuras. So therefore there has to be some difference between human beings and Asuras, right? Everyone is doing the same thing. That's the reason why during Sandhya Kala, most of human beings like us, we don't sleep, right? Or we don't while our time maybe just eating or so, or rather we should not do, or maybe getting physical and such things that are there. We don't do all that. There is a certain time that has been stipulated, especially Sandhya Kala as a time which is very very auspicious. Maybe we light the lamp, or maybe most of us we return back and so on. So such things are done, and therefore there is a certain time that has been stipulated here. In the case of Diti, while giving birth to Daityas, such niyamas were not followed. Asura niyama is different altogether. Therefore, it seems that they were begotten during Sandhya Kala, and that's the reason that she conceived at that time, and that's the reason they were born as Daityas. So, this has been mentioned clearly by Bhattatri. Why he mentions this is to highlight the difference between Asura Dharmam and Manava Dharmam. So, therefore, anything that has been mentioned, be it certain time has been mentioned for doing things, there has got some logic behind it. So, that's the reason why you see Asuras during night time they get a lot of powers. During the daytime, they'll be very weak. That is their way of life. So only after late evening or so they get their strengths. For normal people like us, mornings especially we start. By evening we are close to retirement. Right? We could retire for the day. The asuras, it is the other way around. They will from evening till next day morning they'll be very, you can say, very energetic and so on. So Asura Dharmam is different altogether. Finally, they were born as twins. As usual, they were very, very cruel, and they were the cause of, you can say, death for all gods. So finally, one was born as Hiranyaksha, then Hiranyakashipu, other was Hiranyaksha. They tormented the world, they troubled everyone. Then Hiranyaksha, once what he did was, now, Hiranyaksha, he went to such an extent, all the gods were afraid of him. He went to such an extent that he did not get an opponent to fight with him. So, at that time, what he does is he takes Mother Earth and takes her into deep into Patala. He puts her into water, into the ocean. Then he roamed about here and there with a mace in his hand, with a Gadha. Gadha Avan, you see, verse number 9. Last verse, finally, what happens is he coming to know that then Varuna Bhagavan at that time when he leaves goddess Mother Earth in water, Varuna Bhagavan, the god of ocean, he tells that only Vishnu is the right match for you. And at that time, what happens is Hiranyaksha roams about searching for Vishnu. Now, Vishnu does not come by his own will and tells that, come fight with me, I am the match. He doesn't do that. So, Hiranyaksha moves about here and there and searching for you. So, but still, you didn't come directly to fight with them. So, Bhattatri concludes Dashakam 11 saying that you are the one who can be attained only by compassion, karuna. So, therefore, just as you came to fight with Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and to give protection to the gods, similarly, you please come and Nirundirogan Marudadayesha. Please free me from all kinds of ailments that are there. Okay, this is Dashakam 11. So finally, now you have the talking about Hiranyaksha Vadaha that is there. Slowly you have Varaha Avataram that comes in. So Varaha Avataram is Dashakam 12. So we'll continue. So Ayambhava Manuratho. Now finally what happens is Dashakam 12, it is like a continuation. But here now Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu is the first man. So first man, he was busy. Manu with his wife Shatarupa, they were busy in the process of creation. And at that time, what happens is he saw the entire world submerged in Pralaya. Pralaya is submerged underwater. So then he goes to Brahma, that is Satyaloka, where Brahma's realm is there. He goes there and there he finds you, that is now Bhattatri is talking all this to Vishnu. So it is first person. So he finds Vishnu, all other sages sitting there. And so Swayambhuva Manu said that though Brahma was born through the navel, that is, he tells Brahma, though you are born through the navel, now the entire earth is submerged in water. And he said that I can beget children and so on. You have assigned me this work that is there, that is to maybe proceed to prolong my you can say to give birth to my own children, to maybe increase my family dynasty. But where will they live? I need a place, right? If everything is underwater, where will I keep my children and so on? So at that time he goes and asks Vishnu, Brahma, sages, all of them who are present there. So now Brahma felt, yes, this is something which I never thought about. I just told him you start the process of creation, I came back. So now Brahma, he said that I'll tell you, I'll think upon this. And then finally, Brahma thinks about a solution. So again, Brahma, he could not find a solution. He surrendered at the feet of the Lord Vishnu, and says that now you tell me what to do. So at that time, what happens is while Brahma was thinking like this, from Brahma's nostrils, it seems that a divine boar comes out. This is nothing but Varaha Avataram. Sharanam Yat Asya Nasa Putat. Verse number 3. Nasa Putat meaning from the nostrils of Brahma, Lord Varaha emerges in the form of a child boar. At first, the size was like a thumb. Angushtamatra Vapurat, just the size of a small thumb. Slowly it grew to the size of an elephant, that divine boar. And finally, Brahma and all the sons, all the sages were his sons, they were all surprised to see this huge form. And Brahma, he did not know how the child had come. From his nostrils, he did not even know about that. So he was wondering from where this boar has come. And finally, he understood that this is nothing but the Maya of the Lord. And at that time, you, Bhattatri says to the Lord, you in the form of the boar came out and you roamed about here and there fiercely. And while you were roaming, it seems that the residents who were living in heaven, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. Now there are 7 types of heavens. They all praised you, it seems. That is Varaha Stutihi. And finally, you assumed a huge form again and you jumped into the ocean in order to fight with Hiranyaksha. And at that time, all the sages were praising, they were looking at you, what you were about to do, and so on. And finally, you entered the water inside where there were crocodiles, other aquatic creatures, whales, and so on. And at that time, when you entered the ocean, Bhattatri says, the water and the ocean and the people living under the ocean, or you can say in the nether worlds, in Patala. Hiranyaksha had taken goddess Earth to Patala under the ocean. So everyone was trembling, it seems, and they shook with fear because such a, you can say, now first of all, why they shook with fear is, one is the divine form of the Lord that is there. Secondly, the process of creation has just started. So they had never seen such a creature also coming in, that to a very fierce wild boar who was there. So that was also another reason for trembling. So now finally what happens is verse number 9, finally going to Rasatala. Now Hiranyaksha had kept goddess Earth at the bottom of the Rasatala. Rasatala is one of the, you can say, one of the hills. So there the Asura had kept with the tip of your tusk. Finally you lift Mother Earth, and then you come, then you treat the Asura also, you give him a proper fight, and then you come back, you bring back goddess Earth. And that's how Hiranyaksha was also killed. You lifted the earth, you killed the Asura, killed the Asura. Now killing of the Asura is not directly mentioned in Dashakam 12, it is just highlighted, that's it. So that is, the Lord fought with the Asura, and mainly he brings back goddess Earth. She was actually very frightened. And finally, what happens is, Bhattatri concludes in Dashakam 12 that just as you saved Mother Earth, similarly, Kridavaraha Vapurishwara Pahirogat. So that is, just as this was all a sport, you can say a very easy game for you, similarly, saving me to freeing me also from all kinds of ailments should be easy for you. Please do that soon. Okay, with this, Dashakam 12 also concludes.